Let me ask you a question. Are you fighting to win, or are you fighting not to lose? Because the difference between these two mindsets is the difference between wealth and poverty, success and failure, greatness and mediocrity. Most people fight not to lose. They play it safe. They make plan B. They leave an escape route. What if it doesn't work, they say. What if I fail, they say. And this fear keeps them from ever going full throttle forward. They stay halfway, half committed, half decided, half alive. But great men are different. They burn the boats. They destroy the path back. They leave themselves one option: win, succeed, conquer, or die. There is no other way. There is no other plan, only forward. And this changes everything, because when you know you cannot go back, you must go forward. When you know there is no escape route, you must fight. When you know there is no plan B, you must make plan A succeed. This is not a strategy. This is a way of being. This is the moment of transition from ordinary to extraordinary, because extraordinary men do what ordinary people will never do. They burn bridges. They sink ships. They close every escape route. And then they run in one direction, forward. Now let me tell you what this means. Burning the boats is not just courage. It is certainty. It is determination. It is an irreversible decision. And this decision transforms you, because now you have no choice. Now you have no excuses. Now you have no escape route, only victory or annihilation. First principle: escape routes weaken you. Understand the first principle. The escape route weakens you. The moment you create a backup plan, your mind relaxes. Okay, if this doesn't work, I'll do that. And this thought kills your full commitment. Most people don't understand this. They think they're being smart. I'm managing risks. I'm playing it safe. I'm making plan B. But in reality, they're programming failure. Because plan B tells your mind, if it gets hard, you can quit. But the man who burns the boats cannot quit. He cannot go back. He cannot escape, because the boats are burning. The bridges are destroyed. The road is closed. He can only look forward, can only think about winning, can only focus on success. And this focus creates power, immense power, because now your energy is not divided. Now your attention is not scattered. Now you have no doubt. There is one goal: victory. And all your energy, all your attention, all your power locks onto that target. Look at history. Great conquerors burned their ships. When Cortez arrived in Mexico, he burned his ships. He told his soldiers, "We will win or we will die. There is no way back." And they won. Why? Because they had no other option. You must do the same. Whatever goal you want to achieve, commit to it fully. Close the way back. Destroy plan B. Lock the escape door. And then run forward with all your strength, with all your focus, with all your being. Because when you have a way back, you never give 100%. You give 80%, you give 90%, but never 100%. Because your mind knows there's an escape route. But when there's no way back, you don't give 100%. You give 120%, because you have no other choice. Second principle: fear becomes fuel. Understand the second principle. When you burn the boats, you experience fear, great fear. Because now there is no security. Now there is no comfort. Now there is no guarantee, only uncertainty. And uncertainty is frightening. But here lies the secret. Fear can either stop you or empower you. Most people run from fear. They stay in the safe zone. They don't leave their comfort area because fear hurts. But the great man uses fear, transforms fear into fuel, When you burn the boats, fear increases. What if I fail? What if I lose? What if I lose everything? These questions fill your mind. But instead of surrendering to this fear, you transform it into power. How? By accepting fear. Yes, I'm afraid. Yes, there's risk. Yes, I might lose. But I'll do it anyway, because there's no way back. Because I burned the boats. Because the only option is to win. And this acceptance liberates you. Because fear no longer controls you. You control fear. You tell it, you can be here, but I will still move forward. Fear is actually a signal that you're doing something important, a signal that you're growing, a signal that you're exceeding your limits. If you're not afraid, you haven't chosen a big enough goal. But if you're afraid, you're on the right path. The man who burns the boats feels fear, but he doesn't let fear stop him. He turns fear into fuel. He says, fear is telling me this is important. This is valuable. This will change my life, so I will continue. And this mindset makes you invincible, because fear is no longer the enemy. Fear is an ally. It gives you energy. It gives you sharpness. It gives you focus, because you know if you retreat, you lose everything. So you must go forward. Third principle, indecision kills. Understand the third principle. Indecision kills. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they're indecisive. They have one foot in, one foot out. They say maybe. They say tomorrow. They say someday. And that someday never comes. But the man who burns the boats is not indecisive. He is certain. He has decided. No turning back. No quitting. No postponing. Only action. Only progress. Only victory. Indecision drains your energy. You constantly think, should I? Shouldn't I? Now? Later? This? That? And these thoughts consume you, paralyze you, leave you motionless. But certainty gives energy. When you decide, your mind relaxes. No more thinking. No more hesitation. Only execution. Execution creates results. Burning the boats is the ultimate decision. This decision says, I'm not going back anymore. I'm not quitting anymore. I cannot be stopped anymore because there's no way back. And this decision changes everything. Because now you don't wake up every morning asking, will I continue today? Because the answer is already clear. Yes, absolutely, without doubt, because you have no other choice. And this certainty separates you from others. Most people quit when it gets hard because they have a way back. They have plan B. But you, when it gets hard, you push harder because you have no way back. You have no plan B, only plan A. And it will succeed because you don't have the luxury of failure. Fourth principle, identity shifts. Understand the fourth principle. When you burn the boats, your identity changes. You are no longer someone who tries. You are someone who does. You are no longer someone who says maybe. You are someone who says definitely. You are no longer a hobbyist. You are a warrior. Most people live with hobbies. I'm trying this. I'm learning that. I might do this. These words create identity. Weak identity. Indecisive identity. Failing identity. But the man who burns the boats speaks differently. I am doing. I am succeeding. I will win. These words create powerful identity. Determined identity. Winning identity. Identity is everything. How you see yourself is how you behave. If you see yourself as someone who tries, you quit at the first difficulty. Because hobbies are like that. Hobbies are done when they're easy. They're dropped when they're hard. But if you see yourself as a warrior, you never quit. because warriors are used to difficulty. Warriors are used to pain. Warriors are used to struggle. And warriors never surrender. Burning the boats requires an identity shift. You are no longer your old self. Your old self played it safe, made plan B, stepped back, but your new self takes risks, burns the way back, charges forward, and this new identity creates new results. Because behaviors come from identity. Old identity creates old results, but new identity creates new results, big results, extraordinary results. When you burn the boats, you declare to the world, I am no longer playing. I am serious. I am determined. I will win. And the world feels this energy. People see this commitment. Opportunities respond to this certainty. Because the universe doesn't help the indecisive, it helps the determined. The universe doesn't help those who try. It helps those who do. The universe doesn't help those who say maybe. It helps those who say definitely. Fifth principle, failure is no longer an option. Understand the fifth principle. When you burn the boats, failure is no longer an option. Most people accept failure. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. If I lose, I'll give up. This mindset invites failure. But the man who burns the boats doesn't accept failure. He says, failure is not an option. Giving up is not an option. Quitting is not an option. Only winning exists. And this mindset transforms you. Now when it gets hard, you don't ask, should I quit? Because the answer is already clear. No. Never. Because you have no way back. Because your boats are burning. You must find solutions. You must create paths. You must win. Because you don't have the luxury of losing. This creates pressure, great pressure. But this pressure creates diamonds. Coal becomes diamond under pressure. Humans become great under pressure. Burning the boats maximizes pressure. You are no longer comfortable. You are no longer safe. You no longer have an escape route. So you must be creative. So you must be strong. So you must master. And here the miracle happens. When your back is against the wall, you perform at your best. When you have no options left, you become most creative. When you know you cannot fail, you succeed. Because success comes not from talent, but from necessity. Most people are talented but fail because they accept failure. But a less talented man, if he burns the boats, succeeds. Because he doesn't accept failure. Sixth principle, commitment creates miracles. Understand the sixth principle. Burning the boats is the ultimate commitment. And commitment creates miracles. Because there is a law in the universe. What is committed to is supported. When you start something half-heartedly, the universe gives half-hearted support. But when you commit fully, the universe gives full support. People appear. Opportunities open, resources come, because the universe responds to seriousness. Goethe said, the moment you commit, the entire universe moves to support you. This is not just poetry, this is truth. But most people never see this, because they never commit fully. They live with one foot in, one foot out. And the universe says, if you're serious, I'm serious. But if you're half-hearted, so am I. That's why nothing fully materializes. But the man who burns the boats commits fully. And the universe gives him full support. Coincidences happen. Lucky encounters happen. Doors open. Because he has put his full energy in. Burning the boat says, I am 100% in. I am completely determined. I am giving my all. And the universe says, okay, then I will give my all too. But it's also a practical law, because when you commit fully, your behaviors change, your energy changes, your focus changes. And these changes create different results. Now let me tell you the truth. Burning the boats is not easy. It's terrifying because you're leaving security, you're leaving comfort, you're leaving guarantees, and you're jumping into uncertainty. Most people never do this. They play it safe. They keep plan B. They keep the way back open. And then they wonder, why can't I achieve great success? Because great success doesn't come with small commitments. Great success comes with big commitments. And the biggest commitment is burning the boats. But let me tell you, when you burn the boats, initially you experience fear, you experience doubt, you experience uncertainty. But then something happens. Power comes, clarity comes, focus comes, because energy is no longer scattered. Attention is no longer divided. There is no more doubt. There is one goal, one direction, one outcome, victory. And this focus makes you invincible. You become unstoppable because you have no way back, because failure is not an option, because there is only forward. Now let me give you concrete steps, because burning the boats is not just a metaphor. It is action, and action requires practical steps. First step, clarify your goal. What do you want? What do you really want? Vague goals create vague results, but clear goals create clear results. Write it, date it, make it measurable. Second step, identify your escape routes. What escape routes do you have right now? What plan Bs do you have? What if it doesn't work scenarios do you have? List them all, because these are the things preventing you from fully committing. Third step, close the escape routes. Do this physically. If you're starting a business, quit your old job. If you're learning a skill, delete other options. If you're entering a relationship, close other doors. Real commitment requires real action. Fourth step, declare it. Tell people, I am doing this. There's no going back. This makes you accountable. This binds you, because now you've made a promise, not just to yourself, but to others. Fifth step, reject failure. In your mind, delete the option of failure. Ban the question, what if it doesn't work? Because this question plants doubt. Instead ask, how will I succeed? Because this question creates solutions. Sixth step, take action. Now, burning the boats is not thought. It is action. What can you do today? What can you do now? Do it immediately, because every action strengthens commitment. Now let me tell you the deepest secret. Burning the boats is not about burning external boats. It's about burning internal boats. What are internal boats? Doubt boats, fear boats, excuse boats, procrastination boats, self-sabotage boats. These are your real enemies. Removing external safety nets is easy, but removing internal safety nets is hard, because they live in your mind. They live in your beliefs. They live in your identity. But you must burn these internal boats. Like this, burn the doubt boat, ban the question, can I? Instead say, how do I? Because can I doesn't seek an answer. It seeks an excuse. But how seeks a solution. Burn the fear boat. Don't see fear as an enemy. See fear as a signal. It's telling you, this is important. This is big. This will transform you. Turn fear into fuel. Burn the excuse boat. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have knowledge. Burn these excuses, because they are lies. The truth is, you don't have priority, because if it was a priority, you would find time. You would find money. You would learn knowledge. Burn the procrastination boat. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll start when I'm ready. Burn these words, because tomorrow never comes. Next week never comes. The time to be ready never comes. There is only now. Burn the self-sabotage boat. I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough. I can't succeed. Burn these beliefs because they are false. They are destructive programs from the past. They are not your true self. When you burn these internal boats, external action becomes easy because there is no more internal resistance, no more internal conflict. Only clarity, only determination, only action. Let me tell you a story. There was a man. He had a big goal, but he also had a safe job. Every day he wanted to work on his goal, but every day he came home tired. I'll do it tomorrow, he said. Months passed, no progress, because he was sailing two ships at once, one foot in the safe ship, one foot in the goal ship, and neither was going full speed. Then one day, he made a decision. He quit his job. He burned his boat. Now there was no way back, no more salary, no more security, only the goal. The first month, he experienced fear. The second month, he struggled. The third month, things started happening. The sixth month, first success came. A year later, he had reached his goal. Then he looked back and said, "Why didn't I do this earlier? Why did I try to sail two ships for years? On one ship, full speed, I could have gone much faster." But that's the point. Most people never learn this truth because they never burn the boats. They never take the risk. They never commit fully, and their lives pass as a shadow of their potential. But you can be different. You can burn the boats. You can commit fully. You can buy a one-way ticket, and your life can completely change. Now let me tell you the final truth. Burning the boats is not something you do once. It is a life philosophy. You burn small boats every day. You burn the procrastination boat. You wake up in the morning and say, "I will do it today." You burn the doubt boat. You say, "I can do it." You burn the excuse boat. You say, "I have time because it's a priority." And you burn big boats at critical moments. When you start a new business, when you move to a new city, when you enter a new relationship, when you take a big risk. In those moments, you close the way back and you run forward. Because life is lived with risks. Life is lived with commitments. Life is lived with courage. Playing it safe is dying slowly. But burning the boats is living fully. You came to this world once. There is one chance, one lifetime. And will you spend this lifetime playing it safe, or will you live it fully? Burn the boats. Close the way back. Put your back against the wall, because there you will find your best self. There you will discover your true power. There you will create extraordinary results. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you're ready. Now, today, this moment, burn the boats and never look back, because forward is the only way. Victory is the only option. Greatness is your only destiny. Now go and burn those boats with fear, with excitement, with determination, because you are worthy. You are ready. You can do it. Burn the boats and conquer your life.